you've enjoyed the inspirational quotes we've been having up on the screen. Well, we had the one about love is the bridge, and Bruck is our last name, and in German it means bridge. So thought that'd be the perfect one to leave there while we're talking. So hello everyone, it's so good to see your smiling or not smiling faces, but all of our family and friends and dear ones. Oh, it's so good to see you. He wants to do a centering.
So, thank you so much for being here. I just want to start with a little kind of centering and close our eyes. So we're thankful to be here at this very moment, in the midst of our journey through the universe. And we've gathered here in a place of love, connecting our hearts and our hands, our minds and our souls, to celebrate the truth of who we really are. Magnificent light beings who have been shining forever and will always shine. We just give thanks and a deep sense of gratitude for all the souls who gathered here today. And so it is.
And so it is.
Hello everyone again. Do you feel calmer and more centered and more present? I do. I'm Lou Ann Bruck, and I'm the co-author of our book, From My Heart to Yours, a 365-day inspirational guide to help you find your way through life. I've been a pharmacist for almost 50 years, and I'll tell you that story in a little bit, and besides being a co-author.
Hi, I'm Thomas. So I've been doing consciousness work for almost 55 years, so you would think I would be conscious by now. And I'm just delighted that the universe presented the opportunity to write this book and to channel this book so that a lot of people could have hope in their lives and have an opportunity to have a fuller, richer, beautiful life. We have 3 goals for us together. The first is when you leave here today, you will feel that the hour has enriched your life.
Breathe that one in. Okay?
That you learned something new or have been reminded of something valuable. And that when you leave today, you have something you can share with another soul that may lighten their load, cheer up their heart, and perhaps feed their soul.
I wanted to tell you a little bit more about where I've been and why I'm here. And I've been a pharmacist, as I said, for a long time. And when I first finished pharmacy school back in the 70s, I realized I did not like pharmacy work at all. It was like, oh my God, I spent all this time doing this. Oh my God. So anyway, I had a friend at the hospital pharmacy I was working at in Texas who introduced me to Edgar Casey. And oh my God, I was just hooked. I said, give me some more books. And so she did. She gave me a whole bunch more books about him and all the readings he had done for people. How many did you say he's done?
15,000.
15,000 readings. And he was lying down totally unconscious, and they were typing it while he was saying it. And it was so amazing. So that night, I went to bed saying, I want to know my life purpose. I was so strongly intentional about it. You know, in the middle of the night, I got this being come to me, this huge light being, gold and white, and coming toward me saying, what it is love. Just share love. That's all you need to do. And I was like, whoa! Because I was awake for hours after that because of it opened my heart, and it just was so profound and simple. That's what I got. And so from then on, I was able to be who I was and make peace with it. And whatever people wanted as a prescription was okay, because that's where they were, and I needed to be okay with that. And if they wanted something else, I was there to help them, you know. I have some other suggestions if you want to know anything else. Herbs, massage, you know, different acupuncture. So I was ready if somebody wanted to know more. I realized that it's just sharing love, and wherever we are, however what we're doing. Now I have this wonderful suggestion. Instead of giving prescriptions that are being prescribed, I am now prescribing health and happiness to others. So I love it. Thank you.
I was a young lad in Hollywood, California, growing up in an alcoholic home. And I was the third son of 3 brothers, and we had a Aquarius mama who worked 2 jobs, and we had a drunk father who never worked. And I was walking the streets, and I would see the Rosicrucians and the Rastafarians and all of these different religions in Hollywood, and I wondered, wow, that's amazing. And about 15 years old, somebody said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, 2 things, a father and a minister. Fast forward to, I'm about 26 years old in Washington, D.C. I'm a preacher for the Reorganized Latter-day Saint Church, and I have 3 states that I preach in. And I've been doing, I would write out my sermons, but I'd have them there in case I wanted to peek, and they were long. And so this one day, I got down to Newport News, Virginia. I'm standing here, and I went up there, and I was reading a book called A Search for the Truth. So I took it with me in my briefcase, and I got up to the podium. I got over here so they wouldn't see it. And so I was doing the scripture reading, and I opened it up instead of the Bible. And I read this page. And I noticed a lady had walked in the back of the church almost at the same time, sat down. Everyone else had already been there. And I all of a sudden realized that the sermon I had prepared that day did not apply. I just turned it over for the first time in my ministerial life, and I spoke totally from my heart. And I just shared whatever came through at that moment. End of the service, people come up, and they were nice and cordial. It was wonderful, and they wound their way out the door, and the lady was still sitting back there, and she would not leave. So I walked over, I said, oh my goodness. I said, you okay? Is there anything wrong? How can I help you? She said, I need to ask you something. I said, yes. She said, what was the scripture that you read? And I'm like, oh, busted, you know. I said, well, before I tell you that, why do you want to know that? Why are you sitting here alone? Everybody else is gone. And she said, my husband is in the Navy, and he got killed in service. And I met another boyfriend, and he left me. I was driving to the beach to walk out into the water and commit suicide. And when I heard you say those words, my life was transformed in that moment. And now I have hope, and I know I know everything. It was just like instantly having wisdom. And she hugged me, and we cried, and she walked away. And I knew at that moment that why I was on planet Earth. So, thank you.
I want to read a little paragraph on April 14th. In the universe, there is no one like you. Breathe that one in. You are unique in the entire universe. There will never be another you. Yes, one of the most amazing things about the universe is no 2 things are alike in every way, like a snowflake, right? And that is wonderful. We get to live our life in our own way. We get to choose whatever we desire to be, do, or have. And we will do it in a way that has never been before and will never be repeated. So we're pretty unique, aren't we? That being that came to me is saying that to everyone. We are all that. I really believe it, because there is no other answer.
All right, I want to volunteer to read, open the book. That's all you have to. It's not a hard task. So somebody open this book to a page.
And if you want to ask a question beforehand, feel free to do that.
Well-behaved women rarely make history. Woohoo! Peace, vegan, no GMO, renewable energy, sustainable peace. Vegetarians make better lovers. Think good thoughts, do good deeds. Love animals, don't eat them. Commit random acts of kindness and selflessness, acts of beauty. Selfless acts of beauty. We are all in this together. Peace and love on our planet. Zero emissions. Respect. Coexist. Real men are kind to animals. What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness? Lou Ann and I came out of the local natural grocery, and this shiny new car was parked next to us. The signs above were all attached to it. It was a Tesla. Times are changing.
I also wanted to mention that we're donating a portion of our book sales to Sedona Kind organization. They do so many things here in the community for veterans, for children, for mothers, for pets, you name it. It's so beautiful. And I had the honor of going to the West Sedona School the other day and reading Grouchy Ladybug to the kindergartners. And then we had ladybugs for them to put in their garden after the reading. And they were so tickled. So was I. Because what I want to share is that children are my passion. And that's one thing we wanted to share with you. What is it you are passionate about? And that's the direction you want to go, whatever that is. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. There's no people living for today, and the world will live as one.
So this 10 Ways to Fall, actually I wrote it in the book, Madly in Love with Life Again. This is our creation, Lou Ann and Thomas. Lou Ann loves the sloth. She loves the three-toed sloth. It's one of her favorite characters about slowing down.
I practice that. What about your favorite on there?
Being grateful. I think it may be the most important thing of the list. And when you're in gratitude, you're thankful. And so as I went through this event, which wasn't pleasant, and it seemed like it was awful at the time, and as I got on the other side of it, it happened to be one of the most important, events in my life. And so that's when I began to go like, well, I have a choice. I can just have gratitude for everything, every event. And so it's in the book, that being grateful for every event, and it's really helped me.
It's also on the 10 Ways to Fall in Love with Life Again.
When Lou Ann and I first got together, we were newlyweds. We're still newlyweds, but it was a while.
40 years.
Yeah, I would do something like, I don't know, put the toothpaste thing back on, top on the toothpaste, and she'd go, thank you. And it wasn't like just thank you, it was like, she really meant thank you. And I would empty the trash, and she said, oh, thank you for doing that. And every little everyday thing I would do, she'd go, thank you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, so two things happened. Number one, guess what I wanted to do? More. Get more thank yous. I mean, it was just, I mean, you know, it wasn't conscious, but I would, wow, if I would just, and so she's what really brought gratitude into my life and has made me thankful for just everything.
My name is John Thomas with Enriching Life Forever. We share ordinary people doing extraordinary things and the magnificence of the human spirit. Today, we have Lynn Ennis.
Did you want to share, Lynn, about what's been going on with that and how it's evolved since this film was taken?
Just last month, a local woman who lives in Camp Verde took 184 dresses to Guatemala and gave them out one by one, which is what we like to do because we like someone to tell the girl, you're special. Someone made this just for you. And then to also give information to the community about how parents can help avoid trafficking. Next Thursday afternoon, we'll be packing up a little over 200 dresses to be taken to Honduras. So if you know anyone going anywhere, let us know. We have dresses.
And we found some other folks to help.
Give Lynn Ennis hand. So this is what we want to do. We want to take our book around the world. We want to go into communities and libraries and bookstores.
Like this.
And we want to do what we're doing here like this and have somebody open a book, and it might be to, let's say, gratitude, and then ask the people about gratitude in their lives. And we think we'll find stories that we want to film, and we'll, you know, gather that person together with us and say, maybe share your story with the world. Because, you know, the world needs to know. You know, I have this philosophy that, you know, right now you can turn on TV and see, you know, all the awful stuff. But there's 7.5 billion people. And if only 3%, right now, not if only, I believe that right now at least 3% are hugging each other. That's 210 million people are hugging. And there's another 210 million people opening a door. And another 210 people, 210 million people, letting people in traffic. So I believe that most people on the planet are generous, loving souls and want the world to be a better place. And so that's our purpose for having this book and writing this book and taking the book around the world and having folks like Lynn Ennis make a difference. You know, that's really exciting.
We do have another video on Enriching Life Forever on YouTube if you ever want to look at it too. It has some other folks making a difference in the Verde Valley. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
The book is really good.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I had an experience yesterday. It was wonderful. I had two gentlemen who I played tennis with came over to me and said, "We want to buy your book." Oh, I said, "Oh, wonderful." And I went and got the books and handed it to him. And the one guy says, "You don't remember that about 6 years ago, I was going through a crisis in my life. And you sat me down and counseled me and said all these words of love, you know, and it once again changed my life." And I said, "Oh my God, I had not remembered at all." So we just don't know, you know, and you know how amazing we can be just by just showing up and just being loving. So this is on page May 23rd. There isn't a moment in any day when someone somewhere isn't better off because of something you've done. And no matter what you do or don't do with the rest of your life, you cannot now know or comprehend the amounts of love, joy, and personal assistance that are already being pressed out to you in gratitude from the universe. And finally, a quote from one of our favorite movies, which I can't remember what it is, but I wrote it down. There are so many things in the world that we can't control. Earthquakes, floods, famine. But it's important to remember the things that we can, like forgiveness, second chances, and fresh starts. Because the one thing that turns the world from a lonely place to a beautiful place is love in any of its forms. So thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.